Hey there, Jon Chorba here from ReallyEasyGuitarLessons.com, and in this video lesson, I'm going to teach you 7 different ways that you can play an E minor chord on guitar. So, whether you are brand new and you never did anything with chords before on guitar, or you've got some experience, I'm going to have some E minor shape here for you. So this video lesson is all about what I refer to as fretboard navigation. That's the ability to find any given chord all over the neck of the guitar in the most commonly used ways. And in this video, I'm going to show you 7 different ways to find an E minor. Let's get started. So an E minor chord is nothing but the notes E, G, and B played simultaneously. And so the first version of this chord that we're going to learn is what I refer to as a stupid simple chord, which is just playing the G, B, and E string. You know, fretting hand doesn't have to do anything. You play those 3 strings open, and you got yourself an E minor chord. That's a G, that's a B, that's an E. You play them at the same time, you got an E minor. So it doesn't get much easier than that. If you are brand new to guitar and you don't know how to do anything, I promise you that you can do this. You can hit 3 strings without your fretting hand doing anything. So there's your first version of E minor. The second way is the most commonly used open position version, and that is going to be using your first finger on the 2nd fret of the A string and your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, playing from the E string down. That's the most common version of E minor that you're gonna see. Getting into some bar chord shapes. So this one is tricky to do, but it's worth knowing. It's gonna be up on the 12th fret rather, and you're gonna use your first finger to hold down every string, right? And then you're gonna use your ring finger and your pinky finger. Ring on the A string of the 14th fret and your pinky finger on the D string of the 14th fret. And you're gonna play all 6 strings. Okay, so this is a bar chord. This is a 6-string minor shape. It's a movable shape. Doing it here makes it be an E minor. There's an E, there's a B, there's an E again, G, B, E. If you're doing this on an acoustic guitar, it's practically impossible, especially if you don't have a cutaway. Even on an electric, it's kind of tough because the higher you go up on the neck with these bar chord shapes, you know, the more squished your fingers have to become together. But it's worth knowing simply because a lot of times, you know, in terms of like lead guitar and improvising and stuff like that, we use chord shapes to kind of figure out where we are. So just, even if you don't even use this in a song, just knowing that this shape happens at the 12th and 14th fret and gives you an E minor, again, it's really worth knowing. And an alternate way to play that bar chord would be to do what I refer to as the Hendrix shape. Okay, so it's the same idea, right? I'm using these 2 fingers are on the same spot, but now my index finger is gonna hold down the G and the B string, okay? And then my thumb comes over the top and plays the E string, okay? So this is a really hard shape to do at the 12th fret. Usually when you do them, they're a little bit lower. But I wanted to bring it up because a lot of my students, like, you know, are either big fans of Hendrix or the guitar players that were influenced by Hendrix, such as John Mayer and John Frusciante and many, many others. And so knowing how to do that shape is also worth adding into your repertoire. Again, you're using your thumb on the E string. And then, you know, you can either abandon the A string, like before I was demonstrating like that, and that's pretty tricky to do here. So another way to do it would be to use your ring finger on the D string and your index on the G, B, and E, okay? So when the thumb comes over the top, it's hitting the E string, but it's muting the A string. Okay, it's no real sound there. And then the D string's covered, G string, B string. So you get the same sound with just a different shape. And using the thumb over the top, if you play like bluesy style of music, this is you know, again, quite useful, and a lot of guitar players use it. Then we have a 5-string bar chord, which is gonna be the 7th fret of the A string. And we're gonna do that there, and it's gonna hold down, you know, all 5 strings from the A string down. Then your ring finger is on the 9th fret of the D string, your pinky finger is on the 9th fret of the G string, and your middle finger is on the 8th fret of the B string. Play from the A string down, and that gives you an E minor. Your index finger is responsible for the A string and the high E. Here's a cool sounding E minor, and maybe you've never even seen this before. So this one is gonna be the 7th fret of the A string with your pinky finger, your middle finger on the D string of the 5th fret, and your index finger on the G string of the 4th fret. So it's kind of a stretch. You need to bring your thumb more into the middle of the neck. If your thumb's like this, it's practically impossible to do. So you need to get your thumb in the middle of the neck, and then you can play all 6 strings, right? Remember, E, G, and B are what make an E minor chord. Got an open E, got another E right there. There's a G, there's a B, there's another B, and there's another E. 6 strings, E, G, and B. Cool sounding minor chord. And the last shape I want to show you is a little triad shape. This is on the 3rd fret of the E, the 5th fret of the B, and the 4th fret of the G. I'm using my middle on the G, my ring on the B, and my index on the E. 3 notes, that's a B, that's an E, and that's a G. If you use this shape in conjunction with some of the other ones you learned, so you take the stupid simple version, right? There's the G, B, and E, and then we have this version right here, okay? And then if you look at the bar chord that we learned, if you just take the high strings of that, okay, that gives you, I could do an E minor here, I could do an E minor here, I could do an E minor here, and then the 12th fret, all 3 of those notes are the same as the open G, B, and E. They're the same, it's the exact same thing, it's just an octave higher. So being able to locate this E minor chord up and down with triads is one of the most useful things you could do, especially if you desire to get into being able to solo and doing some improvisation. Being able to locate those chord shapes, very, very crucial, very important. All right, that's it for this video lesson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.